Here on The Colour of Country Life, great to be catching up again with Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah, good, Ricky. Very well, thank you.
And I gather you're feeling a little bit sprightly because we've had a pretty good market this week on the wool
Up
front.
and about.
Yep.
We're up and about, Ricky. Good week for the wool market. Bit of a funny one. Like a delayed reaction. We were talking a bit sort of negatively last week when the market didn't rise against the falling currency, but this week we've played a bit of catch up. EMI is up 24 cents to 1401, and obviously they've got the dollar hanging around that 71 figure. Was very handy for us. Offerings are lower as well, going into sort of traditional seasonal period. We're getting back down around 40,000 bales on the offer, which is always a good thing for the seller. And passing rates obviously lower, 6% with the better market.
Yeah, we did talk in recent weeks about consistently they were capping out at that restriction was at 50,000 bales, but we've had a big plunge on that amount offered this week.
Yeah, too many public holidays for us, Ricky. We haven't been working, so we're working as hard. So short weeks, these short, sort of restricted offerings, and we had those couple of big ones. So now going through, we're not so many public holidays. Offerings can be as big as what they want, but now, of course, with the rain happening in larger parts of the cropping zones and the shearing pattern the way it is, the offerings and shearing will just tie into lower sort of selling, and it's a traditional thing. So the world wool arena knows what's going on here, and if they want to buy wool this time of the year, you've got to be a bit careful because the offering's a bit small and you've got to compete a bit heavier for it.
And I notice as well, when it comes to the price rise, a lot of green on the charts this week. It's consistent across all the way down to the crossbreds as well. Maybe not so strong in the crossbreds this week, but it's been a good week for all traders.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, so green all over the page. So the standouts for me, 21 microns was up 51 cents to 13.54. Big rise there, that's like 4% for the week. 18 microns, getting a bit of a squeeze out of some Indian orders on the 17.5, 18.5 area, which pushed those indicators 20 to 50 cents. And, of course, not to forget the crossbreds. They've been traded the last couple of weeks on the lower currency. So, they're getting off the mat a little bit, but, they're a long way behind. You're talking a 28 micron indicator, 4.13, it was up 6 cents. And I think it's still at a decile, zero. It's the lowest price it's sort of been at for the last 5 years. So, they've got an enormous amount of improvement there. But, overall, EMI around the 9.97 on the US sort of price is, I watch that pretty regularly. $10 US is my sort of, everyone's happy with the price of wool in the world, and when it goes below, it's a sign of lower demand, and when it goes higher, there's obviously increasing demand. So it's just a reasonable price for all concerned at this point in time.
Yep, that Eastern Market Indicator did have a big plunge recently. It looks like it's starting to make a comeback and certainly healthier than where it was maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting to sort of see, isn't it, that and looking at the same time last year, it's 82 cents higher, which, 6% difference between the same price last year. Not a huge difference when you talk, 12 months ago. But when you look at in between, there was certainly a bit of a trough there back below 13.50 and looking at 1300 and now back up to $14 and 14.50. Yeah, it didn't last there too long at the peak in the last sort of 12 months. Come off very quickly. I can't remember exactly what time of the year that was, but obviously it was short-lived sort of rise. And lucky this currency dropped down. I think this market's going to stay okay. Plenty of government orders I'm hearing out of China. The Chinese government actually places orders into the Chinese market to stimulate sort of production and manufacturing. So they're just sort of spreading their orders out through the market. So adding some security to the market. Ricky, there's no risk. There's a bit of risk with default and things going on with some smaller mills in China at the moment because they physically can't get their goods in or physically can't get their goods out to pay some bills. So the government order is obviously 100% secured, so that's helping the industry as well.
Yeah, we were just talking off air before about these pictures that circulate about the clogging of the ships. The ships all parked waiting for their turn to come into the ports in China. You've got a bit of a footprint at Michell Wool into China. Is all the lockdown stuff sort of lifting now and they're firing up all the machinery again?
It's created a bit of tense. Yeah, it's tense activity. We've had some instance with our carbo plant over there. All the sludge, so all the effluent and rubbish and that comes when you're carbonising and scouring wool. We had an instance there where we couldn't get the sludge out. Our regular supplier, we couldn't get our sludge to them, so we actually had to go out and find another supplier. And of course, the next supplier obviously smells that we're in a bit of trouble here. And of course, that price goes up. So those sort of things happening, Ricky, and that's just it's our little instance over there. So imagine what else is going on with others.
Yeah, look, one thing I better check before we go. What's on offer next week? A good market sometimes means people put a fair bit up the next week.
Yeah, so we don't get an immediate increase in the week after because rosters generally close off midweek. So we're looking at another similar offering as 42,000 bales, and I think that's going forward. It looks like it could stay the same, but yeah, good point. Its offerings could increase because there is a bit of wool banked up in broker stores, that's for sure.
All right, Andrew, great to have that market wrap with you, and appreciate your time today. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks, Ricky.